Benin City, the cradle of black civilization. What are you waiting for? Tune in, bro.
VOP TV. Now, you have more than a voice.
2564 is coming up on Barney 9, right?
The 2564 Atlantic Tower.
What happens in the hush behind hangar doors? Who signs the papers that gamble with lives? Which truths were grounded before they even ever had wings? If you've ever buckled a seatbelt at 30,000 feet, if you've ever stared out of that tiny window and wondered who's really in control of the skies, it isn't just flight, it's power, it's politics, it's pressure sealed in steel. We're peeling back the clouds from runway risks to sky-high secrets. We're diving deep where most dare not to look. Aviation Scope, every Sunday at 7 p.m. only on Voice of the People TV. We don't just report, we reveal. We don't just ask, we uncover. Because when it comes to the skies, ignorance is turbulence. Aviation Scope, the sky isn't the limit, it's just the beginning.
VOP TV. Now, you have more than a voice.
Okay, it's a beautiful morning, of course, and you're welcome to Sports Republic on, yes, this beautiful, wonderful Tuesday morning. It's all chilly right here in the studio, and I'm sure at the back end as well, it's all chilly, and yes, we are ready to go. This 6 days, technically 5 days, yes, just less than 5 days to the start of the African Cup of Nations right there in Morocco. Of course, on December 21st, Sunday, it is going to kick off. And yes, the cities of Rabat, Casablanca, Fez, they are all ready to host all the big African teams. And of course, the Super Eagles of Nigeria will be there as well, you know, smarting from that failure to qualify for the World Cup, even though there are still some stories that Nigeria can still make it. Of course, when there's any development on that one, we are going to bring you, of course, we are going to bring it to your ears. And as well as also on Sports Republic this morning, we'll be discussing other sports stories from the likes of cricket, from the world of tennis. Of course, Aryna Sabalenka, she's been very, very wonderful, and also she has been crowned with an award. Carlos Alcaraz as well. We'll give you the likes of motorsports, boxing. Trust me, every GC stories from the world of sports, yes, you get them right here on Sports Republic. And of course, I am your host today, this morning. Afiz Ogubanjo is my name, and of course, I do well to, follow us on all our social media handles, yes, and of course on YouTube. Voice of the People TV is right there for you, and of course, you can like, comment, subscribe to the channel, and of course, turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any of the exciting updates from the world of sports on this show, Sports Republic. Local room is there as well, 5 p.m. when the boys come in, and of course, other shows we have on the platform. And yes, where are we going to start from? There's a lot to talk about, and let's start from, of course, the camp of the Super Eagles of Nigeria. There's a game going down today up against the Pharaohs of Egypt, yes, in the Pre-Afcon friendly, and Nigeria and Egypt are set to face off in a friendly match tonight at the Cairo International Stadium as both teams prepare for the Africa Cup of Nations, of course, AFCON 2025, which kicks off in Morocco on Sunday. And the Super Eagles, led by coach Eric Sekou-Chel, the Malian, will look to fine-tune their squad ahead of the tournament, with several new faces expected to get playing time, including goalkeeper Amas Obasoge, defender Ryan Alebiosuf, and forwards Paul Onuachu and Fago Selim Lawal. Of course, Egypt, led by former AFCON legend Osam Hassan. Of course, you remember him, fantastic striker in his playing days. We rely on their star player, Mohamed Salah, who is seeking his first AFCON title. And Salah will be supported by a strong cast, including Manchester City forward Omar Marmoush and Al Ali Trio, Mohamed El Shenawi, Mohamed Ani, and Yasser Ibrahim. And the Pharaohs are expected to use the match to assess their squad depth and tactics ahead of the tournament. And the match is scheduled to kick off at 7 p.m. Nigerian time. And 23 of Nigeria's 28-man squad, yes, let's say they've arrived in Cairo, with the remaining players expected to join before the game. And after the game, after the match, yes, the Super Eagles will depart for Fez in Morocco, where they will base for their AFCON campaign. And yes, these are the players in camp. Let us quickly go through them. Goalkeepers are Francis Uzoho. Stanley Wabali is also there. Of course, there are still doubts over his fitness. Fisayo Dele Bashiru is there as well. Ebenezer Akinsomiro. I mean, there's a story on this young man who plays for Pisa in Italy on loan from Inter Milan. He once quit football to become a barber. I mean, tells you about the difficult terrain of trying to be a footballer right here in Nigeria. I mean, Ebenezer Akinsomiro, he said it in an interview, saying he quit football to become a barber. He said he's very, very good, at cutting of hair. And but from that story, look at him today. He is playing for the Super Eagles of Nigeria, and I'm sure Nigerians will be willing to see more of him. When it comes to the AFCON, they've been clamoring and calling for his name to be included as well in that squad. We also have the likes of Amas or Basoge, yes, a former goalkeeper in the MPFL. Semilogo Ajayi, yes, a former West Brom and current All-City defender, is there as well. Ademola Lukman, of course, 2024. African Footballer of the Year. Is it 2023 or 2024? 2024 African Footballer of the Year. I think Osimhen won that in 2023. Of course, Ademola Lukman is right there as well. We also have the likes of Bright Osai Samuel, yes, who now currently plays for Birmingham City. Of course, yes, he is there in the Championship. Igor Ogbu, fantastic defender as well. A lot of Nigerians were also calling for him after the retirement of William Chus-Ekong, the former Super Eagles captain. Tochukwu Naji is also there in camp. Rafael Onyedika, of course, also there, the Club Brugge man. Zaidu Sanusi of Porto, also there in camp. Paulo Nuachu, yes, the big Charles Johnson man. Of course, a lot of people are still saying that it should have been Tolu Arokodare. I mean, but look at this man's form in Turkey. He's been doing fantastically well for himself, and he deserves that call-up, if you ask me. Frank Onyeka is also there, the Brentford man. Calvin Bassey of Fulham. I mean, the Fulham trio, the likes of Calvin Bassey, Alex Iwobi, maybe Samuel Chukwueze will join much later, but Iwobi and Bassey, of course, they are the Fulham duo, they are in camp. Wilfred Ndidi, also the Besiktas man, former Leicester City midfielder, also in camp. Bruno Oyemechi of Olympiacos is also there. Cyril Dessers of Panathinaikos is also there. Akko Adams, of course, of Sevilla, of course, with his former Sevilla, not his former, his current Sevilla teammate, Chidera Ejuke. And if you see what Ejuke did in the last Sevilla game, you want to start this guy on the wings. I'm somebody that personally I believe so much in his ability on the wings. He's a fantastic winger. He destroyed the player they played against. I mean, I think that was Getafe that they played against. In La Liga. I mean, he cleared him off from the wing. Fantastic player, Chidera Ejike. And let's look at Nigeria. Yes, of course, they are chasing a fourth continental title, having previously won in 1980, 1994, and of course, their latest one, that was in 2013, and when the likes of Emmanuel Emenike and Victor Moses, of course, took Africa by storm. And they are in Group C alongside Tanzania, Tunisia, and Uganda, and will open their campaign on December 23rd against the Taifa Stars of Tanzania. I mean, we want to wish Super Eagles all the best. This is one of the games you want to say that, of course, it's going to test the mettle of the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Playing against Egypt just before the AFCON. This is a fantastic friendly. Egypt, of course, as Real Madrid have the UEFA Champions League as their birthright, Egypt also have the AFCON also as their birthright. They are the highest winners of the AFCON. I think they have 7 to 8 right now trophies. Mohamed Salah, of course, who is trying to battle journalists left and right, saying that AFCON is a small tournament. It's not going to determine if he's one of the best in the world. He wants to show it now because he hasn't even won it, with Egypt. Let's look at Egypt for a second. I mean, look at the players that have negotiated the AFCON in the past, the likes of Barakat, of course, Mohamed Bastiani Barakat is there. Mohamed Abutrika, these are legendary names. Their coach, yes, of course, Osam Hassan, also there. The likes of Ahmed Mido Osam, yes, Emad Motaeb. I mean, these players that used to play for Al Ali and Ismaili and also Zamalek. Yes, of course, these players just come together. That is why we call on Nigeria. Let us improve our league. These are players, they were not even known in Europe. It was that performance that they gave from the AFCON after coming from their club sides that are based here in Africa. The European clubs, came and let me say, poached them. And some of them did well in Europe. Amrizaki, I remember that season he had with Wigan. Of course, Amrizaki, when he came in 2008-2009 season, it took Premier League by storm. These are players that you want to say, they did well, but they also started here in Africa. Why not improve the NPFL? Let's improve the NPFL. Let's improve the NNL. Let's improve the NLO. And trust me, in years to come, if we are really committed with that, trust me, in years to come, we are going to see results. But I think right now, what's on the mind of the NFF is instant, short-term results without even putting anything in place. And trust me, when you fail to plan, that legendary saying says, you plan to fail. And let's see how it goes. Talking about the AFCON. I'm still speaking on the Egyptian players. I mean, the likes of Gedo. Gedo was fantastic. He was signed by All City in 2010. Gedo was always coming in with clutch goals, for the Egyptians. And currently, let's say, maybe they don't have those level of stars anymore. Their goalkeeper, Osam El Adari, I remember at 44, he went to the World Cup and he still, he didn't keep a clean sheet, but he did well for himself. I mean, these are legendary players playing for Egypt, and of course, they want to test their strengths up against the Super Eagles of Nigeria. That game, I won't say, the result will not determine anything, but trust me, it's going to, a win is of course going to bolster the chances of the Super Eagles when the AFCON starts proper in Morocco. So let us move on and let's talk about the squads, because the Super Eagles of Nigeria, they've dropped their squad list. The 28-man list has been dropped for the AFCON. The AFCON is starting in 5 days, like I said, and a lot of teams have also submitted their squad list. And we are doing, the preview a little bit, on the show. Of course, the boys from the locker room will give us, intensive, review when it comes to the squad list for the AFCON. And let's start, with the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Of course, charity begins at home. Let's look at the Super Eagles of Nigeria squad list one more time. I mean, let's go from the goalkeeper. Stanley Nwabali, yes, you can have them on your screen. Francis Uzoro is there. Amas Obasoge, the goalkeepers. Let's look at the defenders. Calvin Bassey, Zaidu Sanusi is there, Semi Ajayi, Bruno Onyemechi, Igor Ogu, Chidozie Awaziem of Nantes, Bright Osai Samuel, and Ryan Alebioshu. Yes, they complete the defenders list. Midfielders, of course, Wilfred Ndidi, Frank Onyeka, Fisayo Dele Bashiru, Mohamed Usman, the 31-year-old, Alex Iwobi, Ebenezer Akinsomiro, Rafael Onyedika, and Tochukwu Unadi. And forwards, Ademola Lookman, Victor Osimhen, the man that all Nigerians are waiting for. You, me, of course, we know who we are waiting for. Victor James Osimhen, the Galatasaray man. Did you see the goals he scored at the weekend? Did you see that bicycle kick he scored for Galatasaray? We are waiting for more when the AFCON starts proper. Akko Jerome Adams is there. Samuel Chukwueze, Cyril Dessers, Salim Fagolawal, Moses Simon, who, for me, I don't know if he's actually going to play in this AFCON because he's currently injured and we still went ahead to pick him up. Chidera Ejuke and Paul Onuachu. Yes, that's for the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Let's look at more countries that have dropped their squad. And this is the squad of the hosts, Morocco. And yes, let's quickly look at their squad list. Monir El Kaeri is there. Yassine Bono, of course, I think is going to be the starting goalkeeper. He plays currently for Al Hilal right there in Saudi Arabia. And Al Harar is also there. El Mehdi Al Harar is there. And let's look at the defenders quickly. Ashraf Hakimi. He's currently injured as well, but the coach still went ahead to pick him up, saying he is going to be fit. Mohamed Chiri is there. Jawad El Yamik. Roman says, of course, you remember him. He used to play for Wolverhampton Wanderers. And Abdelhamid Ait Boudlal, who plays for Stade Rennais, of course, in France. Naif Aguerd is also there, the Real Sociedad man. Adam Massina of Torino is there. And Nusa Mazraoui of Manchester United. And Anas Salah Eddin, who is playing for PSV, is also there. Oussama Tagalin is there from the midfield. Real Betis' Sofiane Amrabat is there. Ismail Saibari of PSV. Nail El Nawi of Roma is there. Bilal El Kanouz of Stuttgart. Azzedine Ounahi of Girona, of course, in the midfield, yes, for Morocco. And let's look at their attack. I mean, look at these names. Brahim Diaz of Real Madrid, Elias Akumak of Villarreal, Chemdin Talsby, yes, of Sunderland, is there. Youssef Nasseri, yes, Youssef Nasseri. I mean, these names are tongue twisters, so you don't want to, you want to forgive me on that one. Youssef Nasseri is there in place of Fenerbahce. Ayoub El Kabi, who plays currently for Olympiacos. Sofiane Rahimi of Al Ain is there as well. Abde Ezzalzouli, the former Barcelona youngster who plays for Real Betis, is there, and Elise Ben Seguir, who plays for Bayer Leverkusen, is there as well. And the reserve players, we have the likes of Youssel Bellamari and Hamza Igamane. For me, I think Hamza Igamane should be making that list because he's been doing well for Lille right there in France. And of course, maybe you want to look at it and say, who is he going to bench? But of course, it shows that they have that bundle of talent in the Moroccan squad, because there are some players like Sofiane Diop that didn't even make the list. Adli, of course, of Bournemouth, didn't even make the list as well. Let's look at Zimbabwe, of course. Washington Arubi, the goalkeeper, Elvis Chipezeze, and Martin Mapisa, of course. But I think for me, in this Zimbabwe squad, I think I'm going to look at their midfielder, Knowledge Musona, who used to play for Kaizer Chiefs in South Africa. He's playing for Scotland FC. Knowledge Musona is a veteran and is doing really well. Bill Antonio, of course, is a player to also look out for. He plays for Mechelen right there in Belgium. They didn't take Kamabiliat. I'm really surprised from the Zimbabweans this time. Maybe it's just time to call it quits. Brandon Galloway, let's keep him there. He plays for Plymouth Argyle in England. He's a former Everton youngster, and he has switched his nationality from England now to Zimbabwe. And of course, he's representing them. I think the player for me to watch out for here is a certain defender, Munashe Garananga. He plays for Copenhagen. Fantastic defender, Munashe Garananga. And let's see how they are going to negotiate that one. For Zimbabwe, let's move on, and we still have squads to give you, squad teams that have dropped their squad list, of course, for the AFCON right there in 2025. Let's go on and give you more teams, of course, from the AFCON. You know, we've read the Super Eagles of Nigeria. We've seen Morocco, the likes of Comoros, Ivory Coast, Mali. They've dropped their squads, and we still want to see more, you know, players that will be representing. There's something about the AFCON. I mean, it's just every year, or let me say every time the AFCON is about to start, we just see different stories emanating from Africa. Kizike was here when, you know, he told us about Cameroon. Samuel Eto'o, you know, how will I put it now, the allegations he's having with Vincent Aboubakar, you know, saying that he's not picking him so that he's not going to break his record. I mean, this guy is just 11 goals. 11 goals. Is 11 goals short of a national record? Is he coming to Africa to score 11 goals? Are you scared of that one? Really? I just want to believe that that's not true. And aside that one, yes, he also dropped Andre Onana. You know, let me say for obvious reasons, right? He dropped Andre Onana, right? Maybe he's looking at that Manchester United form, saying there are other goalkeepers, you know, that will do better than him. But the coach, the current coach, Mark Bryce, decided to stick with Aboubakar and Onana, and Samuel Eto'o fired the coach, but the coach refused to go. And now there are two Cameroon squads that are even yet to be reviewed. Two squads that are submitted, and we don't know the players that are even going to make it. But either way, Brian Mbeumo, of course, is on both lists and is going to leave Manchester United. I think after that game they played last night, we are going to talk about that in a minute. He's going to leave Manchester United and is going to join up with the Cameroonian squad. Away from that, this one is actually more funny. And this one is coming from the camp of Ivory Coast. And I'm sure my producer will give me the Ivory Coast squad in a minute. I mean, Nicolas Pepe, he has been doing really well for himself. Fantastic player, Nicolas Pepe. He's playing currently for Villarreal right there in Spain. And, you know, a lot of people are already looking at him to represent you know, Ivory Coast when it comes to the AFCON. Yeah, thank you very much. Then look at the squad. Let me quickly go through the squad list of Ivory Coast before I move on to the Nicolas Pepe story. I mean, Yahya Fofana is there, a fantastic goalkeeper too. Mohamed Kone and Alban Lafont, who used to represent France under 17 and under 20, switched up his nationality and now is representing Ivory Coast. Emmanuel Agbadou, who plays for Wolves. Willy Bolly of Nottingham Forest is there. Ousmane Diomande. one of the best young defenders in Europe, if you ask me. Plays for Sporting CP. And Guela Doué, who plays for... This is the elder brother of Desiree Doué of PSG, by the way. Guela Doué, of course, is playing for Strasbourg. And Gislan Konan is there, the Stade de Reims player. Odilon Kusunu, who plays for Atalanta, is there. Evan Ndika of Roma is there. Christopher Operi is also there. Ariel Zuhuri, Sekou Fofana. This man, he has something with the outside shots. Jean-Philippe Baman is there of Paris FC. Olay Christ is there. I mean, Christ, not Christ at this point. Olay Christ is there. Frank Kesse, of course, a fantastic player. Ibrahim Sangare of Nottingham Forest. John Michel Seri is also there. Bakum Bayo is there. Umar Diakite. Amad Diallo of Manchester United. He scored for Manchester United yesterday. Yan Diomande. This also is a fantastic player, bright young player, plays for RB Leipzig, is also there. Sebastian Alla, of course, the man who scored the winning goal up against Nigeria, is also there. And Jean-Philippe Grasso is also there as well. Bazumana Toure, Wilfred Zaha, and Evan Gusson. And also, this man's name, I don't want to call this name, Guiagon Parfait. Guiagon Parfait is also there for Ivory Coast. And yes, back to the Nicolas Pepe story. He came out, just to hear his opinion about this, the long-standing debate of Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi. He came out to say Cristiano Ronaldo talks too much and all of that. He's this and that. He just gave his opinion. And just because of that, he was dropped from the squad. Something is wrong for me for African football. I mean, we always start by saying, let's pick players on merit, right? Just because they came out to say because of those comments, they dropped him from the squad. So was the player now, or he's not speaking from the point of a player. He's speaking from the point of a fan. So for me, I think, I don't know, Nicolas Pepe, for me, he should have made that squad. Also, Kizike also told us about Simon Adingra. Yes, Simon Adingra, who also missed the tournament. African football, trust me, is just a lot, to take in. If Ivory Coast go on to perform very well, of course, they will say whether Nicolas Pepe or not, they went on to do well. And these are the current champions, by the way, they're defending champions of the AFCON. They defeated Super Eagles of Nigeria, of course. And remember what Simon Adingra did to Ola Aina, yes, our very own Olaoluwa Aina. And both of them will be missing the AFCON this time around, so maybe they will settle that beef somewhere else. But let's look at other squad lists. I mean, the likes of Mali. Yes, look at Nicolas Pepe. He said since he arrived at Al Nassr, he has scored 200 penalties. This was his view on Cristiano Ronaldo. And just because of this comment, Nicolas Pepe, who has been in fact, Villarreal's best player this season alongside Tajon Buchanan, is dropped from the list. Just because of this comment. African football, honestly, is just going to give you a lot, to laugh about. And let's look at other teams, from the AFCON, the likes of the Malians. South Africa, of course, they've also dropped their list, and there are other teams that will be negotiating. Yes, this is the Bafana squad of South Africa. The goalkeeper, of course, Ronwen Williams, he's the man. Of course, Ricardo Goss is there. Sifo Chain is also there. Siyabonga Ongezana, the defender. Kuliso Mudao, of course, of Mamelodi Sundowns. Tabang Matuludi. Tilon Smith, Nkosinati Sibisi, Aubrey Modiba, Kulumani Undamani, Samu Kele. Kabini is also there. Umbekelezi Umbokazi, one of the finest defenders, of course, in South Africa. Let's look at the midfielders. Tebo Homokwena. Of course, this man is a popular name, even more popular in Nigeria than South Africa, of course, for obvious reasons. Tebo Homokwena is there. Batusi or Bas, fantastic player for Mamelodi Sundowns. Salete Mbata, of course, of Orlando Pirates. That's fellow. Sitole is also there, who plays for Tondela. And let's look at the forwards. Oswina Police, good winger, playing for Orlando Pirates. And Mohau Nkota. This man, I don't think Calvin Bassey wants to see this young man again, because it terrified him when Nigeria played South Africa in that World War draw, of course, in Bloemfontein. Shepang Moremi is also there, who plays for Orlando Pirates. Evidence Magokpa, of course, Orlando Pirates striker. Lai Foster, who used to play for Orlando Pirates, but now is playing at Burnley. Sifo Umbule is also there as well, who plays for Orlando Pirates. I mean, a lot of Orlando Pirates players in this African squad. Elias Amokwana, who plays for Al Azem. Chandre Campbell of Club Brugge is there, and Relo Boyle Mofokeng, who also plays for South Africa. I mean, let's before we move on, let's look at three more players, our squads that will be representing their teams at the AFCON. Yes, this is the Gabon national team, of course. I'll just go through their, let me say, their big players or players that you want to say you are looking up to for them to shine really well at the AFCON. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, of course, is an obvious choice. Malik Evuna, yes, is back, in the Gabonese squad, and also Denny Bouanga as well. of course, he was shown really well in the MLS last season, finishing second only to Lionel Messi in the goal-scoring standings. Andre Biogopoko is also there. Mario Lemina, of course, as well. And when you look at that defense, Anthony Oyono and Jeremy Oyono, of course, let's see what they can do at the AFCON. And also their goalkeeper, Umbamba Maurice Lois. I want to see what this man is going to do at the AFCON. And let's move on and let's talk about Manchester United, of course. They have 3 players, Brian Mbeumo, Amad Diallo, and as well, Nous Mazraoui, who will be representing their teams, Morocco, Ivory Coast, and also Cameroon when the AFCON starts. But for the team, Manchester United, I mean, they had one of the best games of the season, and it was a goal fest. Manchester United Premier League game up against Bournemouth ended in a thrilling 4-4 draw at Old Trafford, and the hosts blew their lead 3 times, despite putting on arguably their best attacking display under coach Ruben Amorim. And Amad Diallo and Casemiro gave United the halftime lead. That's 394 games now. You know, halftime lead for Manchester United. That's the most of any team in the Premier League. And but Bournemouth, they fought back with goals from Ivan Nielsen and Marcos Tavernier, yes, to make it 3-2. And that was a fantastic free kick from Marcos Tavernier. And Manchester United responded with a free kick of their own from captain Bruno Fernandes. But Bournemouth's strong start to the second half turned the game around, but United, yes, responded with a Bruno Fernandes free kick and Matheus Cunha scoring, the 4th goal for Manchester United. And however, they couldn't hold on. And Eli Junior Krupi, who has been fantastic for Bournemouth this season, by the way, he scored a late goal that secured the point for the visitors. And Sen Lamens made crucial saves. I mean, look at this in the dying seconds of the game to deny Bournemouth a win. And the result keeps Bournemouth in 13th. With a 7-game winless streak, while Manchester United moves up to 6th ahead of Liverpool on goals difference. And Amorim will be disappointed with the drop points, especially given United's attacking performance. And the match was a wild ride with chances galore and late drama. And United's defense was shaky, of course, for them to concede 4 goals. And they misgive players like Harry Maguire and Matthias De Ligt. And Bournemouth will take a point, but United will feel they drop 2. Of course, because it was a fantastic game. I saw the game and I was like, wow. Goals coming right, left, and center. Of course, goals win game, they say. And of course, what's the football match without goals? That's what brings up the excitement. But when you concede 4 goals each, it shows that there's something wrong with your defense line. And Manchester United, of course, put on a fantastic attacking display. Of course, goals from Amad Diallo, Bruno Fernandes, Casemiro, and also Matheus Cunha. But then it was not enough, because on the other side as well, Antoine Semenyo, yes, of course, I'm sure Bournemouth will be happy that Ghana did not qualify for the AFCON, because they will get to keep their key player, Antoine Semenyo. He scored his first goal since October 3rd. Yes, he scored his first goal. That's talking about Antoine Semenyo. And also the likes of Ivan Nielsen and Eli Junior Krupi are doing well for Bournemouth. 4-4 draw, one of the games of the season, yes, in terms of goals scored and also the attacking display. But then Manchester United, of course, they will feel that they've dropped 2 points, as they look to close down on Chelsea and also maybe Arsenal, for the Premier League title. Or maybe they might just be satisfied with making top 4. Let's see how it goes as the season progresses. And of course, there's still more to talk about, yes, on the sporting world and also on the football world. Let's move on to the biggest award for FIFA. Is the FIFA the best award? Yes, and it's going down today, of course, right there. And the best FIFA award 2025 winners are being revealed tonight in Doha, in Qatar. And the ceremony is taking place at the Fairmont Qatar Hall with around 800 guests in attendance, including FIFA President Gianni Infantino, FIFA Council members, and football legends. And the awards recognize outstanding achievements in football with categories including the best FIFA women's player, the best FIFA men's player, and of course, yes, let me just hold on there, and you see the players on your screen. Let's go back to the FIFA men's player. Of course, the likes of Vitinha, the likes of Lamine Yamal, the likes of Rafinha, the likes of Ousmane Dembele, yes, who is currently the Ballon d'Or winner. I mean, let's look at the FIFA best player, the FIFA best player, of course. And yes, other categories include the best FIFA women's coach and the best FIFA men's coach, and also fans, yes, they have played a significant role in deciding the winners, casting over 16 million votes across multiple categories. And yes, we also talk about the likes of notable names: Ousmane Dembele, Achraf Hakimi from Paris Saint-Germain, Aitana Bonmati from Barcelona, who has been touted as a front-runner for the women's award. She's currently injured, but of course she's going to make that tournament to see if she's going to get the award. And the ceremony will also reveal the winners of the FIFA Fair Play Award, FIFA Fan Award, and the FIFA Puskas Award. I mean, this one, the one you have on your screen, is an equivalent of the FIFA Puskas Award. That one is for the men. This is for the Marta Award nominees, and this is for the best goals of the year that they've been nominated. Jordan Borg of Seattle Reign scored a fantastic goal up against NC Courage. Mariona Caldente of Arsenal scored a beautiful goal as well up against Olympic Lyon in the Champions League for the women. Ashley Chitley for Brentford against Ascot United. Kira Kunikros for Australia up against Germany. And also John Ryong-jong of Korea DPR up against Argentina. And Marta, a player with the name the award after, is currently nominated for the award. Imagine Marta winning the Marta Award. That is going to be fantastic. And she scored a fantastic goal, by the way, coming from the midfield for Orlando Pride against KC Current. A beautiful goal where she just reminded of the prime Marta of those days. Fantastic player. She was a woman playing with the men. That's a fantastic player. And Vivian Miedema, former Arsenal striker, she scored for Netherlands up against Wales. Kishi Nunez of Argentina, a beautiful, solid goal up against Costa Rica. Lisbeth Oval for Tigres up against Guadalajara, and Ali Sentnor of USA, and also Khadija Bonishaw of Manchester City up against Amabi. And yes, these are players for the FIFA Puskas Award, the men. Alejandro, yes, sir, for Vitoria against the Cruzeiro. Alessandro Diola, this goal, I think this is a goal that should win the award. Coming from a right back, Alessandro Diola, beautiful goal, a team goal, but that goal, the bend on that goal, I mean, you should see that one. Cagliari up against the Venezia, yes, sir, and Pedro de la Vega, of course, of Cruz Azul, beautiful goal, one-time shot from the wing, going into the back of the net up against Seattle. No, it was for Seattle Sounders up against the Cruz Azul. And of course, Santiago Montiel, of course, for Independiente up against the Rivadavia. And Nasser for Al-Ali up against the Falco. Orantia, beautiful goal as well for Atlas up against Querétaro. And Lucas Ribeiro, yes, former Mamelodi Sundowns player, he's now playing in Spain. He scored a beautiful goal at the FIFA Club World Cup, also coming from the midfield. A solo goal up against Borussia Dortmund. Declan Rice, of course, one of the best goals in Champions League last season. Free kick for Arsenal. Yes, he took it beautifully well. Yes, up against Real Madrid. And yes, Rijo, of course, of Persija Jakarta up against Aroma. Beautiful goal as well. And Kevin Rodriguez for Kashim Pasha up against the Rizespor. And Lamine Yamal. This goal, I think, is a bit dubious. Where you see that goal from Lamine Yamal, that bend on it. People are saying that maybe the goal from Anthony should have been better. Let's look at the goalkeeper nominees for the FIFA Best Award. Alisson Becker. Yes, of course, is there. Yacine Bono, Diogo Costa, Thibaut Courtois, yes, Di Gregorio of Juventus, former PSG goalkeeper. I think this will be for his PSG, let me say, his theatrics, not theatrics this time, what he did really well for Paris Saint-Germain. That's talking about current Manchester City goalkeeper, Donnarumma. Gigio is there as well. Fabio, 44-year-old, he did really, really well at the Club World Cup. Fabio is there. John Victor also. Dibu Martinez, of course, of Aston Villa. Edouard Mendy is there. Alex Meret of Napoli is there. Mir is also there as well. Manuel Neuer, Jan Oblak, David Raya, Robert Sanchez of Chelsea, Unai Simon, Jan Sommer. Of course, we have Milan Zvila, Wojciech Szczesny, Weverton, of course, who plays for Palmeiras, and also Owen Williams. Good one for African football for us to have a nominee, an African as well. And let's look at the attackers as well quickly. Salem Aldassari, Bradley Bakola, Ousmane Dembele, Desiree Doué, Seo Girassi, Victor Gyökeres of Arsenal, Erling Braut Haaland, Enrique, of course, Luis Enrique, fantastic player. Alexander Isak, not having the best of season at the moment, but of course, what he did last season was fantastic. And of course, he's nominated for the best attackers. Harry Kane, Kivicha Kvaratskhelia, Robert Lewandowski, Lautaro Martinez, Kylian Mbappe, Lionel Messi. Lionel Messi, current MLS champion. Of course, what he did, you can't ignore that. And Pedro is also there. That's Joao Pedro of Chelsea. Rafinha is there. Mario Retegui, Cristiano Ronaldo. You are still having Cristiano Ronaldo going up against Lionel Messi in 2025. Now, I think we are going to have that till they just call it a day on their football careers. Mohamed Salah, Vinicius Jr., and of course, Lamine Yamal. It's going to be fantastic, and it's going down tonight, and the event is being broadcast live, and of course, you can catch it The ceremony starting at 8 p.m. local time, and it's going to be an exciting night, of course, with the world top players and coaches being honored for their achievements. And the Best FIFA Football Awards is an annual event that recognizes the best in football, and this year's ceremony promises to be an unforgettable one. We take a quick short break. Yeah, a quick break right now, and we'll be back to give you more stories from the world of sports. It is still Sports Republic. Don't go nowhere. Stay with us.
Welcome to the locker room, the home of football talk that matters. I am Jerry Ampelon. Join us every weekday, Monday to Friday at 5 p.m. Nigerian time, as we share the hot takes and hot debates in the exciting world of football. And joining me are the usual suspects, Ikechukwu and Mayowa, as we break down all the hot takes and everything that's happening in the football. Don't just watch football, live it with us. Catch us on the locker room and Voice of the People television at 5 p.m. Nigerian time. And like I always say, if not 20 minutes off, please discuss.
And it's Hakim Ziyech.
All right, you're welcome back to your show Sports Republic, and let's move on to the Carabao Cup. Of course, still sticking with football stories and the Carabao Cup. The coach of Chelsea, of course, Enzo Maresca, has said Cole Palmer, who is Chelsea's star player, won't be featuring in the Carabao Cup quarterfinal, against Cardiff City due to an injury. Yes, Maresca has revealed. He explained that Palmer is being carefully managed to avoid overexertion, having recently returned from a spell out with groin and toe injuries. And Palmer has scored in Chelsea's weekend victory over Everton, but Maresca wants to protect him from playing 2 games in 3 days. I mean, let me say a good one for Cole Palmer, returning and scoring up against Everton in the Premier League, and he had to remind us that, hey, I might be out for a long time, but I am back and I'm ready to prove myself. And he got that goal. And that iconic celebration, of course, he did that up against Everton. And Maresca praised Cardiff City, highlighting the challenge Chelsea will face, saying they are top of the league, playing nice football and winning games. And Chelsea aims to progress to the semi-finals while keeping key players fresh for the Premier League schedule. And Palmer's injury has been a concern and is being ruled out for 2 to 3 weeks to allow him to recover. And this is part of Chelsea's cautious approach to manage his workload and prevent further injury. Of course, Cardiff City will be playing Chelsea, but these are the last 8 teams, the teams that will be negotiating the quarterfinal. And Arsenal, yes, Brentford, Cardiff City, Chelsea, Crystal Palace, Fulham, Manchester City and Newcastle. Of course, Arsenal will be playing Crystal Palace, but tonight's game will be Cardiff City up against Chelsea. Manchester City will be playing Brentford, and Newcastle will be playing Fulham. It's going to be a fantastic one. But yes, like I said, Chelsea up against Cardiff City tonight, and Cole Palmer, yes, has been ruled out of that game, yes, by their coach Enzo Maresca. And with Palmer out, Chelsea will look to other players to step up, and Maresca's team will be hoping to maintain their momentum in the competition. Of course, everybody wants to win a trophy, and yes, that's the Carabao Cup, currently held by Newcastle United after they defeated Liverpool, with Alexander Isak, of course, scoring in the final. Of course, they will be looking to defend their title. And yes, that's Chelsea. And Esteban Willian, of course, the player, will be very, very important as Chelsea take on Cardiff City. Let's move on to the world of tennis now. Of course, let's talk about a fantastic player. She has done well for herself this year, and she's looking to play in the battle of the sexes. She's playing against, a male opponent, and that's talking about Aryna Sabalenka. And she has been voted the Women's Tennis Association Player of the Year for a second successive season. And the 27-year-old, she won 4 titles, including retaining the US Open against Amanda Anisimova in September to claim her 4th Grand Slam singles triumph. And Sabalenka finished the season with a 6-3-12 win-loss record and picked up a record £11 million in prize money. And Sabalenka's impressive season also saw her spend the entire year as world number 1. Nobody came close, and finishing 2025 top of the rankings for a second successive year. and she became the first player to top 12,000 WTA ranking points since Serena Williams in 2015. And on 28 December, she will face 2022 Wimbledon runner-up Nick Kyrgios in a battle of the sexy style exhibition match. And other winners at the WTA awards include Belinda Bencic, who was voted comeback player of the year after taking a 13-month break following the birth of her first child. And Victoria Mboko picked up newcomer of the year, while Katerina Siniakova and Taylor Townsend were voted doubles team of the year. And Amanda Anisimova was named most improved player of the year after reaching 5 finals. I remember what happened between her and Iga Swiatek after Iga Swiatek defeated her 6-love, of course, and she came back. She said she watched that video in the midnight. She cried and said next time she will meet Swiatek, it's not going to be that same way. And she met Iga Swiatek twice, after that, and she won really, really well. I think good one for Amanda Anisimova, and rightly she was named the most improved player. And meanwhile, in other tennis news, the likes of Carlos Alcaraz, yes, he took home 3 honors in the Association of Tennis Professionals ATP, yes, award. That's for the men's side, and including the year-end #1 award, if that's finishing the year as world #1, while Yannick Sinner was voted fans' favorite for a 3rd time. And of course, that battle between Alcaraz and Sinner rumbled really hard for this year. And of course, I personally thought Sinner was going to, finish the year as world #1 after winning that ATP title, but of course, no, it was given to Carlos Alcaraz. Good one. I mean, this is, let me say, that's best form of rivalry we've seen since the likes of Roger Federer, FedExpress, and Rafael Nadal. Of course, when it comes to Nadal and Roger Federer. Also, you can put in Novak Djokovic and Andy Murray somewhere, but hey, the tennis world, the tennis old heads, they will tell you that Rafa Nadal and Roger Federer was a battle for the lifetime. And of course, these are players that have won 20 plus in Grand Slam titles, of course. And let's talk about the NFL this time around. And yes, there's excitement, yes, in the air as Nigerians, 5 Nigerian athletes have made it to the National Football League's NFL International Player Pathway Program. That's talking about the IPP, the class of 2026, and the likes of Collins Arogunjo, the likes of Uwa Bernard, the likes of Michael Daramola, Chibike Madu, and Anjola Oketola are among the 13 athletes from 10 nations selected from the prestigious development program. And the IPP program, established in 2017, aims to identify elite international talent and provide opportunities for them to train and improve their skills and also earn a spot on the NFL roster. Let's quickly look at the players and where they are from. And let's look at Nigerians, the likes of Collins Arogunjo, Nigerian, Michael Daramola, Uwa Bernard, also of Nigeria, Chibike Madu, of course, of Nigeria, Anjola Oketola, and Joshua Weru, which are from Kenya. And also, since its inception, 70 international players have signed with NFL teams, with 22 currently on active rosters. And the selected athletes will undergo a 10-week intensive program at X3 Performance and Physical Therapy in Fort Myers, Florida, starting January 2026. And they will combine on-field drills with classroom instructions and showcase their skills to NFL scouts with opportunities to be signed and as free agents or drafted in the 2026 NFL draft. And Nigeria has already produced notable NFL talents, including CJ Okoye and Agai Undubisi, and the country's growing presence in professional African football is evident, inspiring the next generation of players. Yes, I was reading this, and let's take it again. Kaya Clarkin, of course, who is playing for Australia and New Zealand. Kailan Faumui, Australia, Samoa. Jared Gray of Australia, New Zealand. And Felix Leper of Germany. Kansei Masuzawa of Japan. Joshua Weru of Kenya. Laikin Vakalai of Australia. And yes, the Nigerians, Collins Arogunjo, Uwa Bernard, Michael Daramola, Chibike Madu, and Anjola Oketola. We also have Seydou Traoré of Algeria, Ivory Coast, and the United Kingdom. Yes, these are the Africans. The 13 Africans, of course, 5 Nigerians included in the IPP class of 2026. And it would be nice, after seeing the likes of CJ Okoye and Agai Ondubisi, it would be nice to see at least one of these players, going forward, representing Nigeria in the NFL. We want to see Nigerian players in the NFL. We want to see a Nigerian player playing in the Super Bowl. And when we have the likes of Ondubisi, who is playing for the Texans, and also CJ Okoye, who play for the Chargers, let's see the Nigerians that will also come out of this one and represent. In fact, there's no problem having all of them. Let's have all of them play in the Super Bowl. I think it will be good for the country and also for the sport as well. Let's move on to cricket now. And Nigeria and Rwanda, they dominated the individual awards at the second edition of the West Africa Trophy, with players from both teams receiving top honors. And the tournaments concluded in Abuja on Sunday. And and Nigeria successfully defended their team title. And Rwanda's Didier Ndikubwimana was recognized for the best moment of the tournament after leading his team to a 23-run victory against Nigeria in the group stage. And Ndikubwimana scored 51 runs, anchoring Rwanda's innings and guiding them to their only win against Nigeria in the tournament. And of course, Nigeria's Danladi Isaac claimed the best batter award, amassing 324 runs across 9 innings and playing a key role in their title win. And Mohamed Nadir of Rwanda took home the best bowler award with 15 wickets in 10 innings and an economy rate of 4.76. And Nigeria's captain and wicketkeeper Sulaiman Musewe, also earned the best fielder award, recording 11 dismissals and 1 catch in 10. And of course, good one for Nigeria's cricket team right there. In the West African Trophy after dismissing the not Democratic Republic of Congo, Rwanda. And let's look at the list. Of course, the medals table: Nigeria, Rwanda, Zambia, and Sierra Leone. Of course, doing really well. And Nigeria topping the medals list with 16 points. They have that one. Rwanda 12, and Zambia and Sierra Leone. And of course, after doing this one, let's see what they will be able to pull up on the world stage. Right now, I was talking about the cricket team doing really well for themselves, after that one right there, the West African Trophy. Rwanda also gave good accounts of themselves, of course, but Nigeria defending their crown right there in Abuja for the cricket national team. Cricket is one sport that, I've always liked, but then you have to stick to one. You have to stick to one. You can do every sport, of course. You can anyone that suits you, but you just have to stick to one that you know that you are very, very, very good at. Because cricket, trust me, I want to say is one of the less fancied sports in Nigeria, and that maybe I want to use this, to call on all the National Sports Commission to give more attention to the likes of cricket, likes of rugby. This year has been fantastic for other sports, aside football in Nigeria. I mean, we saw the table tennis championship, we saw the Paralympians, we saw Wimbledon, badminton, we saw volleyball. Different sports, doing really well for themselves in Nigeria, and we can only call on the National Sports Commission to do way better. For the likes of also cricket and also rugby. It's been, let me say, a good time and far God also on this show. And we also want to use this one to call it a day, to call it a wrap, of course, on this edition of Sports Republic. For this beautiful Tuesday morning. And we're giving you all the sports stories. Nigeria up against Egypt will be going down 7 p.m. Nigerian time. And let's see what the Super Eagles will be able to bring out. And let's see if they're going to bring more joy to the faces of Nigerians. So the boys from the locker room will be giving you what is going on behind the scene. Yes, in the locker room between Nigeria and the Super Eagles as they prepare for that pre-Afcon friendly. But yes, on the show Sports Republic, I want to say it's been a wonderful ride. I'm Afiz Ogubanjo, and I'm using this medium to say, have a wonderful and sporty day. Bye for now.
This is African News on Voice of the People Television, where we don't just bring you the news, we bring you Africa's heartbeats. the policies that shapes our world, and the economy that determines our future. African News on Voice of the People Television. Stay with us.
Voice of the People, you can hear me now. My name is Patrick Doyle, and I wish that you continue to echo the voices of the people. Big up VOP TV.
My name is Suibifa Dokubo. Please keep watching VOP TV.
Hi, my name is Kwekumali Ikenda Onyekwena, and I am with the Voice of the People TV. Now, if you're looking for the veritable channel for information, politics, robust discussions, you don't need to go far. VOP has you. VOP will always have you. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Patrick Diabwa, aka Ibani Chuka. I'm the Eagle King, and you are watching VOP TV. Stay with us.
Uyi Osarite is my name. I am a friend of the microphone. I talk and get paid, and I look forward to being in your studios. Voice of the People TV. That name is unique, and the brand is very sweet. I like the packaging, picture qualities, camera qualities, and then of course, the quality of human beings that I see sometimes on your channel. I'll be like, well, this